Welcome to Cohesive Friendship Unit. My name is Chris. I'm here with Jeremy.
What's up?
Brian.
What's going on?
And Jake.
Hey guys.
Guys, Sony said that they will not be at E3 2019, but that doesn't mean that they won't have content in or sprinkled around E3. There's a couple of things that are not adding up, and we're going to talk all about the possibilities for a Sony State of Play in or around E3 2019. But real quick, there is a Steam code in the description. That Steam code is because you guys have been doing great with the subscriptions. Keep the subs up, keep the codes coming. We really do appreciate the like, so please consider hitting that. And let's get right into it, guys. So Sony started doing these State of Plays this year. They've done 2 so far. They're running about every month and change. They're very similar to the Nintendo Direct, but they're smaller in scope. They said concerning E3, Sony said concerning E3, as the industry evolves, Sony Interactive Entertainment continues to look for inventive opportunities to engage the community. PlayStation fans mean the world to us, and we always want to innovate, think differently, and experiment with new ways to delight gamers. As a result, we have decided not to participate in E3 2019. We are exploring new and familiar ways to engage our community in 2019. We can't wait to share our plans with you. So guys, I have a couple of questions. 1, will there be a Sony State of Play 2019 in or around E3? Regardless of whether or not there is, Sony has confirmed Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, and Death Stranding are all PS4 bound games. So when are we going to see them, and what do we think is going to happen? Let's start with this State of Play thing. Are we going to get a State of Play around E3?
Probably.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Well, that's good, because I also agree, probably. Now, let's get into the details of it. Let's just start with the software. Those are the 3 games: Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, and Death Stranding. I assume that we think all of those are really the only big games Sony has at the moment on the pipeline. I assume those would be the games that we'd see, right?
Maybe.
No.
No?
No.
What games do you think you would see?
I don't know. Not all of them.
Not all of them. All right. Well,
Ghost of Tsushima, we'll see.
Okay. And
Last of it, we won't see much of Death Stranding.
Okay. Kojima has been kind of teasing a trailer for Death Stranding, so we might at least see a trailer, but not get some crazy details on it.
Yeah, that's possible.
All right. So you think Tsushima and Death Stranding? I think we're definitely going to see The Last of Us 2.
I said that as well. But I think we'll see least of Death Stranding and most of Tsushima.
I kind of agree with you there. I think that's where it ranks.
So before we dive too deep into the games, do you think that Sony's skipping E3 because they don't have the games, or do you think they are trying to move away from E3 to hold other events so they essentially don't have to pay the fees that come along with a massive event like E3?
So I think Sony is kind of doing half of what you said. I think they are just shifting to the online stream thing just because you can connect more directly with audiences. There's less likely to be kind of a fumble live because it's pre-recorded. There's fewer technical issues. But at the same time, Jake, which is kind of supporting what you were saying, Sony did say that, or Sony earlier this year canceled their December PlayStation experience, which was their other big event. So they basically canceled their 2 biggest events, and they said, quote, we wouldn't have enough to bring people all together in some location in North America. We don't want to set expectations really high and then not deliver on it. So I think, yeah, there's also not a lot of games.
Right. And that's concerning. I mean, so I guess I wanted to point out that it seems like Sony is trying to, I think it's 2-part, like you said. One, they're probably trying to test out the waters to see, can we get away with not doing E3, which I think pretty much the only person that's doing that is Nintendo, but Nintendo's kind of an exception compared to everyone else. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
Sony
a lot of
can't
people
pull
like
that.
E3. And
What are you saying, Brian?
Sony can't pull that off. I think the elephant in the room is the PS5.
That is the elephant in the room.
I think a lot of this has to do with the timing for like the Christmas season, because like if you want to get something on sale, you don't want it to launch in December. You want it to launch in like November. You know, so that it kind of generates its. I think that they've gotten to the point with the thing, because like there's footage of it now, right?
Well, it kind of leaked a little, but let's like just real quick. Like, yeah, let's shift to the hardware, I guess, since we're already here. So I'm just gonna say, they did confirm that the PS5 is not coming out this year.
It's not coming out this year.
100%. It is not coming out this year.
Whether there goes what I was saying completely. So
I don't think so. I actually kind of still agree with what you were saying. I just think push the timeline back by a year.
Yeah, which means so yeah, okay. What do we feel about the PS5? Like, are we gonna see that in this state of play? I personally don't think we are, because I think they're gonna I think for that they do want to have a big live event.
Agreed.
Yeah, probably.
Or at least a big event. I don't know necessarily that it has to be live, but it has to be something more than like a few weeks out and are they going to do anything? It would have to be really significantly hyped.
Yeah.
And if it's not coming out until probably 2020, why waste the airtime showing something that's so far away?
I think if anything, they would have like the slightest tease, only to like safeguard themselves from Microsoft showing anything. They might just be like, yeah, we're making it. You know.
Agreed.
But we have nothing to show.
That's true.
All right.
So just to mention on the PS5, Sony did post some specs, or at least in a recent corporate presentation, they sent out some information of kind of what they've confirmed is going to be in the PS5 and what they haven't really put any information out. And the list of specs that they have so far is pretty impressive. They've confirmed that there's going to be 8K support, backwards compatibility, physical disk support, ray tracing. So a lot of very impressive stuff that would definitely compete with the high-end Xbox that we were theorizing about in our Xbox video. So I agree. It would probably be good if they came out with some information that would most likely counter whatever Xbox is going to show at E3.
Yeah. I honestly think a part of the reason they got that, well, they did this, I guess this financial thing had to happen, but they did the Wired article, which was basically this, like a month ago, was to get the foot ahead of Microsoft, just because they're not going to be at E3 with that big presence.
Yeah.
So I think we're all set on hardware. So now, unless you guys have any last thoughts.
Negative.
No.
All right, let's shift to those 3 games. So, Sony's confirmed these are all PS4 bound, and it seems like we have a little bit of breathing time between now and the PS5. Like, we probably have a year to 18 months to get 3 games out, which is like, kind of a game every 6 months or so. It's not like they're going to have all of these come out on the last day of the PS4. This isn't some, like, Wii U disaster. This system sold 100 million units. Like, I would think we'd be getting these this holiday, right? Or some of these.
One of these.
I think Last of Us.
I think Last of Us too. Mostly because I want it the most.
Well, I think that's a holiday game to come out. I mean, that's their, like, blockbuster title. So if anything, if they want to launch something on Christmas, that's the thing to send out.
And they've been talking about that for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, a while. Well, that and Death Stranding.
I mean, they had that awesome Last of Us 2 trailer at the last E3, and everyone was wicked hype, and then there's nothing.
Radio silence. And yeah, I mean that was amazing. I agree with The Last of Us. That would give it a year to sell, assuming the PS5 comes out next year. And then they could do like a remastered version of it, like they did with The Last of Us first game. It came out on the PS3 like a year before the PS4, and then they re-released it basically.
Yeah. And I think we will probably see Ghost of Tsushima at whatever kind kind of press conference that Sony holds, and I think that'll come out this year, probably relatively soon.
Maybe it's because I'm not feeling it for Ghost of Tsushima. I kind of see this as like an early 2020 game, like a first quarter, like a February game.
Really? I mean, they had a lot of footage at E3 2018, so it's been out there for as long as Death Stranding, or for as long as Last of Us. So,
I mean, it's possible it also, like it comes out in like September. I just don't see it as like a big holiday game, personally.
No, I think this coming holiday is Last of Us 2, and then the following holiday season is Death Stranding and PS5.
Gotcha. Well, okay, so speaking of...
Circa. Death Stranding might be fall. But...
Yeah, speaking of Death Stranding PS5, is there a chance... Because I've thought of this. So the PS5 demo that they showed with Spider-Man is Spider-Man. It's a PS4 game that they're showing running on the PS5. So they already confirmed backwards compatibility, but is it going to be like... do you think there's a chance that they release this kind of like dual gen game where all of these games come out around the time of the PS5 and you can buy, like you buy The Last of Us 2, it'll play on both consoles, but on like, just for, explanation's sake, if you play it on the base PS4, it's at 720p. If you play it on the PS4 Pro, it's at 1080p. If you play it on the PS5, it's 4K. Like, do you think that's a possibility where we get this like cross release or no? Because that would give a killer launch lineup for the PS5, and it would be people who aren't quite ready for that could use their PS4 until they do upgrade.
Yeah, but that would be a lot, because like 4K isn't it? It's pretty much 4 times what like 1080 is, right? In terms of information.
In terms of pixels, yeah.
Right. So you have to, you'd have to put all of that on there, and some people aren't even going to use it.
Well,
but
I mean, it's
they just, could. I mean, if
it's
going to
be,
it wouldn't be the same disc.
Or it could even be the same disc. It's just higher res assets.
Yeah, well, so a lot of console games they deliver a disc, but it has a minuscule amount of data compared to the full game. So a lot of it comes via download.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Maybe something like that, and I think it would be a great idea. And they could probably figure out a way to pull something like that off.
I think that's what they're going to do with Death Stranding. I do think Last of Us is going to be more like what you said before, Chris. Like maybe like a re-release. But I think Death Stranding will be like a dual launch title for the PS5.
Yeah.
Launched in conjunction. And we know Kojima works super slow anyways.
It would be...
He has, but it's been a while. Like, it's already,
It's been like, what, 2 years?
No, it's been like 3 and change.
Yeah, but 2 since we really saw anything, right?
No, we saw it like right away. We saw it super early in development as part of the problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's been a lot of trailers. But I think that Death Stranding will probably be... So I'm thinking back to... I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but Zelda Twilight Princess released on, what was it, the Wii and the GameCube at almost the same time. I think we'll probably see something similar with Death Stranding, where there's a PS4 and a PS5 release.
Breath of the Wild did release on both at the same time, the Wii U and the Switch. That was a same day release. And Jeremy, the first trailer was E3 2016, so 3 years ago.
Damn.
Yeah. So it's been a while.
Death Stranding is like Last of Us 2 is also a big like console seller. I mean, if you're trying to launch a console, Death Stranding and Last of Us are the 2 games that come to mind. Yeah.
And just for those of us keeping track, there are 25 minutes of Death Stranding trailer footage. Like that's how much there is.
You've almost got your game.
Yeah, you're getting there.
I don't know. I feel like we are really rapidly approaching the release of the PS5, and there's not a lot of time to get the 3 games out. So I think Ghost of Tsushima is coming out this year pretty soon. Last of Us, I think, has got to be holiday time this year. and Death Stranding is going to be dual launch on PS4 and PS5.
Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah, probably.
It sounds like we all tend to agree that Last of Us is this year, and Death Stranding is pushed out, and Ghosts is kind of a floater. Like it could hit when it, whatever it needs to hit to fill in a gap.
Yeah. The only weird thing is there's not been a lot of promotion or hype around Ghost of Tsushima, so it seems weird that they would release it so quickly without anything.
I feel so weird about this game. Feels very similar to Days Gone, which we did a video on, and that game did very mediocre, like review wise and sales wise. It seems like they're kind of not sending it out to die, but they don't have a lot of faith in it.
I don't know. And they only just released Days Gone, so why release Ghost of Tsushima like a month or two afterwards and kill your sales of Days Gone?
Yeah.
What sales?
I don't know.
All right, well, let's talk just any, this can take as long or as little as we need to, but any other predictions that we have, like at all. It sounds like we're all thinking this isn't really, we kind of know what's happening. They're wrapping up the PS4 and starting the PS5, but do we think we're going to get any other kind of crazy drops?
They're building a robot. I'm calling it. They're pulling the money out of the video game stuff a little bit because they're trying to come out with another one of those robots. They love that shit.
They do love that shit.
And you get it, like, Sony is a huge company. Like, they're not just into video games and computer hardware. Like, they make a ton of shit.
They're taking their PlayStation money to make robots.
But this is only a piece in the puzzle. Like, and you got to think about, like, all Nintendo does is video games. So, like, it kind of makes sense for them to go and do their own thing because that's what they do best is video games. And Sony, it's Microsoft except more so. It's a bigger, a wider company.
Yeah, it's got the widest breadth of all the three.
That's the job, dude. They're making a robot, and corporate had to look at their bottom lines and pull back on a couple of departments, and video games was one of those.
So are you picturing like a robot with like? So here's what I'm seeing, Brian. I'm seeing a big robot with PSVR headsets and PSVR like equipment, so that you can be drift compatible with
PlayStation Labo
robot.
With the robot, yeah.
It has a PlayStation Move on each arm.
Yeah.
I was picturing more just like things that walk around and
right.
Something white, like that glowing white. No, because that's all they do, like that glowing white with like the space helmet, and then it's gonna have like a blue, like light up smiley face behind it. That's what it's gonna say Sony on the helmet.
That's so true.
It's gonna be that like shiny piano key white color that they always make robots.
You give
that apparently makes it look friendlier.
The only thing it does, if you give it an Xbox, it rips it in half. You give it a Nintendo Switch, it rips it in half with its little blue blinky smiley face.
It's got a smile.
No, it calmly rips it to pieces.
Beautiful.
You give it a Sony PlayStation, it's like Sony PlayStation, the best console. I think this is a bad idea. I think Jake, when he said earlier, they're dipping their toes in the water to see if they can just not do E3. And I think that the answer is probably no, and that this is probably not a good idea for.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. So they're definitely between consoles, and I have a feeling the PS5 is coming out very soon. Soon as in a year from now, probably. But that's not enough time to really release any new previously unpublicized titles. Like, it's not like they're gonna drop a new
major.
Yeah, it's not like Horizon Zero Dawn is coming or something like that. So I don't know. I think they are actually just lacking titles, and it's probably going to be a dry spell until we hit PS5, where they hopefully come out with a whole bunch of new IP like they did with the PS4.
Well, I see this as, on the one hand, yes, it's a dry spell. On the other hand, Death Stranding and Last of Us 2 especially have the potential to be the best games of the generation. So like it's a dry spell, but with the caveat of like
Some massive games.
These could very well be the definitive games of the generation. So that's whatever for me. I have two predictions rather. The first is we will see new hardware. It will be the final revision of the PlayStation 4. It will be a cheap PS4 basically. It will be because that system's approaching 100 million units and it's still going strong, and the PS5's already backwards compatible. Make a cheaper unit, get people buying software, get people subscribing to stuff. I think we'll see it like a dirt cheap revision of the PS4.
Get the bottom end.
And for the second prediction, software, there's Until Dawn developers. They're making a new game, Man of Medan. I think they're going to be showing a new trailer and a release date for their game. I do think that game's PS4 bound because I think it's almost done. It has a release date, so I think we'll get a nice like crispy trailer for it. Comes out on August 30th, so that would make sense.
Good guesses.
That's it for me. All right. Anything else? Or are we good?
That's it.
All right, Brian. What should our viewers do?
Well, if you are in fact a Sony robot and you're watching this video, well, hello, I guess, and hammer your thoughts on all of this in that word box there, if that's what robots do, or if you're a person, go ahead and let us know what you think about all this Sony stuff. And like Chris said, there's a Steam code in the description, so go ahead and get that while it's hot, because it won't be there for long. And we always appreciate those likes and subs, like he said, so if you watch this far, you probably liked the video. Go ahead and click that like button, and you'll get updated with all the stuff we're doing. And smoke them if you get them, guys. That's all from me tonight, Chris.
All right. Thank you, Brian. We'll catch you guys next time.